they've come up with is certainly better than what we had originally. It was not good, particularly as the entrance to the site. And I think they have addressed that both by looking at materials and design. So from my own point of view, I am much happier with the design of those than I was. The other issues we'd raised were the access and drainage onto Brent Street. As yet, County Highways still haven't commented on that, so from my own point of view, I think my view stands of I want to see the confirmation from County that they're happy with the access, the visibility displays and such, which would be normal. In terms of the drainage, they have added a couple of drain points at the entrance. What they haven't confirmed yet is how that will impact on the existing flooding that we've got, because it's slightly further up. And I thought when we had originally spoken to the developers, they were looking at trying to deal with that. So that is something that, again, I would like to see further confirmation from them. The IDB was the other thing I think we raised, which was the query about the drainage of the site. It's been confirmed again, I think, from the applicants that they have had further discussions with IDB, and IDB have signed off that they're happy to do this rerouting of the water. As yet, I haven't seen that confirmed by the IDB, and so I think my own view would be rather like we did on a previous application, which was provided we have those reassurances, I would be happy with the application that we've got, but I think we need to see that confirmed. The one other thing I would like just to flag up tonight, which has also changed, is in meeting the IDB's requirement, if you look at the top right-hand corner, they've widened the area that is the maintenance strip because they wanted a 6-metre buffer for the drainage board to get in there. My slight concern is if you look at the approach to, and I'll name the resident, but Mrs. Renish's bungalow, which is the one right in the top corner. In the previous design, they'd actually done some landscaping and fencing to reduce the impact on her. They've actually done away with that because that's within the 6-metre buffer, and I don't think it would be rocket science for them to put some if I can just point out.
On the other end.
Here you've got hedging and fencing coming round, but here it's open, and of course headlamps are going to go straight into her main room. I don't think it would be that unreasonable for them to put some hedging or fencing back in there, because they've had to take out the other bit to get to help the IDB. So that's only a minor point, but I think it's something they could address relatively easily. As far as I'm concerned, that was the issue that we'd raised previously.
Any other comments from anybody?
Well, I don't agree with Bob with the flooding in Brent Street, because I believe that's the inability of Somerset County to not maintain the drains. That's all that is.
But the issue was that we were given certain assurances that the flooding would be addressed as part
down Brent Street. Why are you picking on these developers?
because of the flooding that has occurred on that corner.
Yeah. But the developers can't do anything about that. Surely that's the county.
But if you will recall that when we had debate with Sedgemoor, they assured us that as part, because there was this position of who was responsible and who would deal with it, and nobody was prepared to stick their hand up, the developer took the lead and say they would deal with it. And the letter and the comments we've had back is not saying this will deal with it, it's saying it should deal with it. And that's not reassuring in my opinion. But
can I just a bit more further comment? Peter is absolutely right. In terms of planning, you can't get the developer to solve an existing problem. But it was the developers, when we had the original discussions with them when they were first talking about the site, said they would deal with that flooding issue.
Yeah.
So that was the only reason why, in planning terms, it won't necessarily be something we could hold them to.
Yeah.
But it was a thing that they had offered to do.
Well,
just for Peter's reference, in the email from Esther Carter, it did say there is evidence of highway drainage issues that have given rise to flooding of the area of Brent Street that comprises the entrance to the proposed development. The Parish Council have previously raised their concerns on this matter and note that this is still not being addressed in the overall application. This must be addressed for this proposal to be accepted. Please see the attached current drainage drawing for the site highlighting the new drainage at the site entrance. The existing localised flooding on Brent Street is caused by poorly maintained blocked highways drainage. The road flooding happens independently of high water in the adjacent ditches, indicates that existing road drainage is not working. Is there a problem? Is not working or blocked. The proposals include a new drainage system designed and sized to suit the requirements of roads and houses. This includes new drainage to the proposed entrance site, which will positively drain this area into a new system and should remove the risk of localised flooding in this area. That's the note from that they propose. So presumably they're going to address that in the...
That's the implication, but are the other bodies content? And I think that's the point that Bob was making. Have we actually seen comments from Drainage Board or Highways or whoever?
I think from their county highways haven't commented on it yet, so hopefully they'll clarify that.
Okay. Then we can't...
Right.
Are we being... Correct if I'm wrong, are we being asked to confirm the proposals that have been suggested, or are we just still leaving to the planning process to sort those problems out?
I think we're being asked if we accept this.
I think that the issue was we raised 4 objections, and Esther has written back to say this is the comments back against each of those. The question is, do we want to make a comment on those and that response?
Remember, of course, we're not responding to Esther's comment, we're responding to the planning application amendments, so we've got to be careful.
Yeah.
Esther's note is for our guidance.
Yes.
It's not actually a document that we're going to respond to necessarily on this particular application.
I think there was a document dated 5th of December on the website which provided further clarification of this from the planners.
Brian?
Yeah, I just agree with what Bob has said, particularly. In today's note, it said the Drainage Board will undertake downstream improvements to address issues caused by low flows through existing culvert, which I think what you said, and that these measures will also address the localised flooding. Flooding is caused by poorly maintained blocked highway drainage. The existing road drainage is not working and it's blocked. Now, I don't think we can make any firm decision on this, positive decision, until it is actually done. That's how I feel about it.
We can't remove our objections then, in the light of these changes that are...
What do you mean?
Well,
We've all objected.
what's it saying is, as a result of the changes, and decide whether the Parish Council is prepared to remove its objections in the light of these changes. Well, it's clear from what Bob tells us and your notes that we can't remove our objections until...
It's sad really, considering these people want to provide the village with low-cost housing. They all the way along London and Bedford, and we come to the situation where we find ourselves now along with them, and yet we're being held up because of the inability of the county to maintain the drains.
Yeah.
Sad.
But all the other points that we raised for objection, I think they have addressed, other than the drainage. But we've also now, because of this redesign, as a result of them addressing another issue, has led to another issue alongside the privacy of that particular property.
I think, Chairman, the only thing we could do if the parish wished to is, I think because there were so many things that we were concerned about last time, we turned it round to an objection unless these things were dealt with. You could look at saying that we would withdraw those objections provided those things are dealt with in the same way that we did about provided county highways agreed to the access at the other end. So that way it would mean it wouldn't have to come back to the parish council, it wouldn't delay it any more than them having to actually just deal with the issues. But that would be something, I would be happy to propose that as a way forward if members are happy with it. It doesn't delay it any more than it has to, but it does still put the ball back in their court to deal with the issues that...
Can I have a formal proposal on that then?
Does that include addressing that particular fence issue?
That I would leave up to other members to discuss as well. It was my own personal view on that one. That was a new issue, obviously, that's come up because of the redesign. I don't know how others feel about the potential impact
Before we do
on...
the proposal, can we just get any thoughts on that, please? This is the point of vehicles coming into that headlights go across Brent Street actually,
Yeah,
and into that particular bungalow or property. Is it a bungalow? Yeah, it's a bungalow.
I think we should make a note of that.
I think we can add it.
And we can highlight it as an issue that they can at
It's
least
good that
seek to address.
Trying through the houses there onto the road.
I mean, it's very similar to the problem associated with the tennis
Yeah.
club lights.
Yeah.
You know, we had to address that with neighbours, so we should hit that one now before it becomes a problem.
So the proposal on the table is
I think it would be that we would withdraw our objection subject to confirmation from the drainage board that they are happy that the water courses can be reviewed to get the water away from the blocked culvert, and subject to Highways confirming that they are satisfied with the access onto Brent Street in terms of access and drainage.
Seems to me there's too many ifs in this. As to whether will they do it? Have we got faith in them to do it?
at the end of the day, Brian, with respect, we are not the deciding body. We are only still making comment.
What it would mean, Brian, is in effect our objection will sit on the table unless those things are agreed that they're going to be dealt with.
That's fair.
Which, if the officers decided it was an okay thing to go ahead, that would still trigger it to go to the committee for them to make their decision.
Yeah. And seeing as being one of those councillors that sat alongside with the developers, I'm quite happy that they will do their history and the development they've done before. And that's why we chose them.
Okay.
I've got a proposal from Bob.
Do you want
I'll second it.
Before we go to the vote, do you want to add something about that fence as part of that as a council?
Privacy,
Yeah, I think we could certainly highlight it as an issue.
privacy issues.
It's come down off the others.
Do we not know what Brent Street is?
193.
Privacy issues, lights.
I can double check. I think it's about 193.
Because of the rearrangement of the site, because of the internal
Due to
drainage or
signage.
IDB,
Yeah.
137.
that could lead to light pollution from vehicles to that property. So on that basis, can we
I'll
then
check which number it is.
I think Sharon said we may address it anyway, because I know that the housing officer has been out and met Mrs. Renish in the past, and that was why they changed the plan last time, to try and put some protection in there.
we'll just flag it up again? Right, so we've got a proposal, we've got a second. Can we have a vote, please? All those in favour? And that's unanimous. Colin, would you like to take over, please?
Yeah.
And Bob and I will leave and we'll send
Come back in.
Malcolm back.
Can you put these up? Do we have any comments from Richard? Do we have any comments from Cynthia at all on this?
I haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't received anything from
Oh, 0718, 0031, demolition of existing single-storey side extensions and chimneys and erection of a new single-storey side extension, front porch and external insulation of the building at the orchard.
Presumably that little notch which goes up to the right is to come down, is it?
She had a silver glass 03 down the slot.
Okay, we've got the site.
Where is it?
Let me have a look.
Plan and elevation.
Can we look at the existing, please, is that one? That one probably. There's the orchard.
So presumably the bottom one is the proposed. And that's the original.
Proposed, yes, existing block and proposed block.
Yeah.
So they're going to demolish a building at the rear, and
That's the stable.
is that the stable, Peter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there's a stable over by this way.
This is the
Okay.
stable.
No, well, that is. That's on the drive.
What is?
What's this? Oh,
Can somebody, Peter? Can you explain this thing? What's this line here?
What's the extent? The ring.
Is that the ream?
That's missing off the other one.
And that's not there.
No. Whatever they do, they're going to tidy it up.
Yeah, but you can't.
You
You're
can't
not
fill
going
the
to
ring.
build on top of a ream, are you?
Is that a ring?
It's a path, is it?
Is it?
Actually. Okay. An existing path to the house. Okay. So essentially, then,
Right.
they're coming
It's only a little footpath.
a little footpath there. Okay. And porch
Yeah.
and demolition of garage, and presumably they're putting a double garage up there.
Yes,
Do we have
See what else we've got?
front one?
See what else we've got. I've got elevations, proposed floor plan, elevations.
We'll have a look. Right.
Great. Let me see.
Doesn't show that on the building.
What? Yes, it is, because that's the other building. This bit
Is
here.
the one that's...
Oh, the garage.
Yeah.
The garage.
They've got a garage on the left-hand side?
The garage is an outbuilding. They're going to,
That garage on the side, David.
yeah, they're going to externally integrate it according to the agenda.
Okay, well, in the absence of any report from the planners, it seems to me that
So this is the one that we passed for on the house, 1.5 houses. We're building another house over where the stable was, weren't we?
But that's
no, that wasn't there, was it?
Yeah.
It was
Is it?
one time.
Is this the one where, at the moment, there's a bungalow there, and there's a little shed on the side,
Yeah.
and there's a caravan there now?
That's right, yeah.
Right, got it.
Well, it is another one there.
Okay.
Improvement to the property.
Well, it's an improvement to the property, and it's in keeping. I don't know if anyone else, but I think we've got to support this.
Oh yeah, because it's going to be all that from water standards. Really, it's an old...
Oh, it was sort of
It's really basic.
Malcolm, any comment?
No.
Okay.
So
Brian?
No,
Andrea? David? Peter?
Also,
support it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so we're supporting
And,
then
and on the grounds of improvement,
i.e. property improvements, yeah.
one of the things the planners, when we do our responses, are asking for is when we actually support it, we say, okay, it's improvement. And the question sometimes comes back to me, well, how? They ask me how we're improving it.
Making it
in
up.
fact, it was a 1920 property and 1930, something like that.
The whole thing needed updating.
Yeah, so it needs updating basically.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's fine. That's exactly what they want.
Big.
They don't want just a sort of
No.
like we're supporting it because it's better than it was before. We're now telling them.
No, it said it needed updating.
Yeah.
About
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Is that unanimous, by the way? Is that unanimous?
All
Yeah.
voting?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, one thing more.
Super, just not trying
It's warm in here.
I'm not sure how much of this point, this is your one on the next one, but most of it's writing rather than descriptive. But if you want to, maybe try and prove it.
So really, again, on this particular planning application, 00021, we are only asked to consider modifications that have been registered since we made comments in August. And I believe those modifications are site layout. And that's it. Has anybody got any comments?
Well, we didn't make any comments, did we?
No, have you got any comments on the latest changes?
Is any change, does it?
Is there any changes? Is a slight layout? Have we got a slight layout?
I don't think we've got the necessary floor plans, elevations.
Superseded site of services.
Tell me what it
Comes out of the floor plan. Superseded site plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, the left hand side, from the bottom. No, left, down, yes.
From the way. And if you can make that slightly bigger.
Can I make it bigger?
Yeah.
A bit of magic? That's big enough.
Yeah.
And where was the change?
Spot the change.
Spot the change.
They're listed on the right-hand side at the bottom.
Right by you there.
Out of order, 'cause that's it.
Make it a bit bigger, probably too big, isn't it?
You have to scroll up a bit, and I can't see it out of focus, but there we are.
Where changes that?
Can you read that?
Any more?
Go and do more.
Is that?
Shall I read it to you?
Oh, I think
Got it printed out if you'd like it here.
I'm not sure.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Because that's the one from May. Let's look at that. I think that's the plan that's been superseded. I'm not certain, but I think the fact that it says superseded means that's the old. Can you just check this one that doesn't say superseded?
Right, so
It should say site.
And superseded is like this one.
But this is the latest, this is what Mr. Dyke's given us, and that's got the dates. Though this was issued in, is it March or May?
It says May.
Yeah, but the amendments are dated this year.
Right.
So there's the amendments. And it seems to be the chimneys.
I mean, as John Hill said, it's generally minor amendments, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
not.
There's nothing significant to it. Doesn't say what that is.
Superseded.
It's 13226. Yeah, I can see it. I'll pass that back to Mr. Dyke. So the issues really are that they are proposing some slight modification to chimney stacks, a garden. Otherwise the layout per se is as we have previously seen.
So, they think that Jubilee stacks are more in keeping with the look of the village.
Because I believe there was some that didn't have any.
Yes.
Whether,
Yes,
they,
that's
are,
true.
whether they are working chimneys is not in.
They're there. You're quite right.
The exit onto Brent Street is still the same.
Nothing's changed.
No.
Well, I can't see why we're worried about the other development, the other end of the village, where we see that. Exit. I mean, it's far superior than the other end. There's nothing we can do about it, John. The exit onto Brent Street is terrible. When we were criticising the exit down on the one down on Station Road, we were worried about that. It's 10 times better than that one. We were worried about it. Anyway, what we're deciding about is another three, they're going to squeeze another 3 houses in.
The numbers, there's no change in numbers.
Changes. The changes.
They've moved the houses around and they've adjusted the designs by the look of it.
That's all.
Got a chimney on
They
here.
have done his hand. I said I'm ready for a renewal.
You know, a low cost house.
So the proposal is, any suggestions? Or we just have no comment?
We can actually only comment on the new piece.
On the link, yes, because
Not on the fact that the
Not on the original one.
access is still in the same place.
because that we've already debated,
Yeah.
and we're not allowed by our standing order to address such things within 6 months.
Did they explain why they want to change it? Look at the
Outlook, I think.
Sorry? Outlook.
Outlook.
Thank you.
See what it looked like.
Keeping in keeping with what they were trying to do with the rest of the village.
Just as a general comment, it's not unusual for the case officer will talk through with the developers if they think there are things that they can make better or that they think are improvements, they will ask the developers to do them. We've had other ones which have come back with amendments, but that may well be where this has come from. In the same position, I'm seeing what we've got here, but that could be that they'd be asked to change things, like the other one where they had to change for the drainage board to be able to do their maintenance stuff.
So we have either we have no objection.
I would have thought, Chairman, rather than no objection, I think it would be better to stick with the no observations that we made last time, because then we're not either supporting or objecting, we're sticking with where we were before.
Yeah.
Nothing has fundamentally changed from where we were last time round, so we had to go with no observations if you want
So
to
the
propose.
proposal on the table is no observation. Anybody second that?
Mr. President, sorry.
I'll propose that.
Bob,
Okay.
anybody second that? Is prepared to second no observation?
Well, we've got to.
Can we have a show of hands on that basis? Bearing in mind we're voting on that particular aspect only.
Which is of no material difference.
Yeah.
So,
There's no material difference.
Do you want to vote again?
so we have to vote again, so this is for no observations, okay?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5. And then the others are objection or abstention.
Abstain.
I was voted against in the first place.
3 abstentions. Okay. I'll forward that over to Sir Moore.
Yeah, we have to reread something, I think,
After we've excluded. Can we get Andrew in first of all?
Yeah. Can you bring Andrew in, please?
Not there.
Right there. Perhaps he wants to abstain from that.
She's not there.
Well, I was just saying she left a bag. There's nothing there. She may have left.
Right, do you want to read the public
Please.
exclusion list? Under Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act 1960, the public and representatives of the press and broadcast media be excluded from the meeting during the consideration of the following items of business, as publicity will be prejudicial to the public interest because of the confidential nature of the business to be transacted. We we will also suspend filming for this part of the meeting. So I have to ask you just for one moment, for one item, to leave the meeting.